Nice. Yeah, I'm in Houston, but I'm sure
Okay.
it's a lot different than Minnesota. All the time.
All the time. Yeah.
All right, we are live. So good morning, everyone. Good Friday. Welcome. We got Craig first time on the lives with us. We got Colby back and we got Tyler. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. So Craig, why don't you introduce
Nice. Yeah,
yourself
I'm in Houston, but
real quickly to my audience since you're the first time guest on here.
Okay. Yeah, my first time. I'm Craig. I'm a realtor, about 30 years in the business. I've got a portfolio. I'm running about 25 units right now. Member of the school community. That's how Mark and I connected up, and just looking for a good group of people to hang around with. So,
Well, thanks for joining us. These lives are always fun. So yeah, I think this main topic, it was brought up on Zuber's channel, it was brought up in the school community, but I think there was a lot of feedback on it. I think had a lot of people thinking about their future and maybe what they're doing and reflecting back on things. So it's the top 5 deathbed regrets. So I sent this to each one of you, before the live. Was there maybe Colby? Was there anyone that stuck out in your mind to you?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to fix my Facebook stream because it always starts out as
Yeah.
private to me for whatever reason. I don't know if you guys are having the same issue. But yeah, I think the one that stuck out to me the most was the last one, I believe, where it said that we're spending so much time thinking about the future that we're not so much in touch with the present. And I feel like that's something that I probably struggle with a lot. I'm always looking towards like what's next, and a lot of times when you're thinking about what's next, we're not thinking about what's right in front of us or what we're experiencing right now. So I think that one's very interesting because I've probably seen a lot of people who are very driven and they seem like they're pretty successful and moving forward, but a lot of I didn't know that that was one of the top 5 regrets for people, was that at the end of their lives, if you will, that they're not, they felt like they spent so much time looking into the future that they weren't actually able to enjoy their present.
Yeah, so the one that we're talking about is I focused too much on the future and lost touch with the present. What about Craig, Tyler? What about you, folks? You guys kind of relate to this one?
Robert Kiyosaki talks about who your teachers are. And one of my teachers was an old World War II pilot. He was flying bombing runs over Europe, but got shot down. So real tough old coot, super good guy. But he would flat out tell me when I was younger, he was kind of my mentor, and he'd say, "You got 1 foot in tomorrow, 1 foot in yesterday, and you're pissing all over today." So that's just it, how he describes what we're talking about here. So that the way he phrased it stuck with me. So I just, as you're sharing that, Kobe, I started laughing thinking about that old guy. So.
And I think for me, I mean, I definitely agree with not being present. I think a lot of us who are driven, that's kind of like the curse of being driven, is you're just go, 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 and not able to take a step and look around. But I think also, I was reading through them again right now. I think, what was the exact wording? I'll read it. I let fear control my decisions and didn't take risks. And I think a lot of it too is like, for myself, you think that this mistake's going to be fatal. And looking back, I'm sure we could say, I know I've made a ton of mistakes and none of them were fatal in my business. It was a learning lesson, and it ended up saving me money in the long run. So I look at people who I have seen in my market take more risks than myself and how it's worked out. And I'm like, man, had I done this, I could have done that. And you don't want to compare yourself to anybody, but I just have always, been a little bit more conservative after 2007 through 10. It kind of changed the way I do things, which is good and bad because I was way too from the hip back then anyways. But I think, outside of not being present, which is a big problem for me, I think the number 2 would be, we have been thinking a lot lately that we only got one shot at this, and why not? Like, what are we worried about? Like, let's go. Somebody mentioned that within like 10 years after your passing, most people aren't going to remember you anyways. So get after it. That's been my biggest thing lately is if I see something, I want to do it, even if it's risky, calculate the risks and go forward.
Do you think that's with age, like as you're getting older? Yeah, but
Like
that's
the hourglass is running out a little bit too. I mean, not that we're that old, but it's like, hey man, you only got so much time to do the things you want to do.
so it's more calculated risk though, because right when you're younger, you're kind of fearless a lot of times, but it's also kind of just doing stupid stuff a lot of times, right? So
Yes.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely feel the same way, especially both of us being in the firehouse. A lot of times, a thing, one call can just change your perspective on a lot of things, right? And you really realize like, what the end game is, and what are you maybe missing out on. But that's where I struggle with is the balance of all of this. Is trying to, you want this certain future for yourself, but are you also still living in the present right now? So I think that's the struggle that I have. I think that's why I think it's I worked too much and missed out on life. So number two, and that's the one that kind of I struggle with quite a bit, is just as far as balancing that, even building this YouTube channel and trying to do the social media things is kind of like, how do I balance what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to even show my son, like, what are we doing here, but at the same time enjoying and staying in the moment. So that's my thoughts on that one.
Yeah, if you look back, just I mean, looking back in high school, right? I should have asked more girls out, right? But I was shy. I was fear. You just everything. And then in my 20s, it was fear. I should have done this with the business. I should have done this. Those are the only thing I look back on. Well, I should have done that, but I didn't because of fear. So, Tyler, I think you hit it. As fear prevents us. I don't regret the stupid decisions I made where I took the chance and it turned out poorly. I don't regret that because I learned. I regret not taking that chance.
Yeah, I think some of my biggest mistakes back then now, they were minuscule, but you buy a rental property. As far as business goes, buy a rental property, paid too much for it. That was inconsequential.
Done that.
Yeah, right. But like now looking back on that same property would probably be a screaming deal.
Yep.
You would like buy 100 of those same properties that you hated for a while. So yeah, I think
Right price,
perspective
wrong
as we get
year.
older. 100%. Yeah. And it was funny. There's a group I'm in Boise, and not this year, but a couple years ago, guys were posting property values or like wholesale offers from like 2017, 18, 19, and everybody was laughing about how low the prices were. And at that time, I know one of them they posted was mine. It was $112,000 for a duplex. I couldn't sell it.
Yeah.
And I think I sold it for like 107, and that thing's probably worth 400 to 500 right now. So I think it's funny how I was so mad at myself for buying that property. I think I made like $500 on the wholesale deal. But now looking back, I'm like, good grief, had I kept it, it would have been one of my best deals ever. So I think, just taking action, I think, and stepping out of that fear is a big thing.
So here's one for you, Tyler. I was 1995, I think, and it was one of my first listings in the business, right? Early 20s, trying to sell this house. They're in foreclosure. It's in South Minneapolis, nice 1920s, 3-bedroom bungalow. And their redemption period's up. And the owners approached me and said, you can just pay the mortgage off and it's yours, $15,000. I could not figure out how to come up with 15,000. That number scared me. I look back on that house was worth 65,000 at the time. That one still haunts me to this day. Why didn't I just go to anyone and just borrow the money to pay that off? But it was that fear and the inability to think. And then I didn't also position myself in that environment to learn where I could reach out to resources. I was young in my 20s and I had all the answers at the time.
Do you guys think too it's actually our fear of failing, or are you more worried about what people are going to say if you do fail? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like for me it's the latter. So I think I worry about that less too. Now I don't care what other people think because at least I'm in the arena, right? Well, I think
Yep.
you get older, you could care less what people think anyways. But I think too, it's hey, I'm trying. At least I'm in there. I'm taking swings.
Yeah, so much of growing up was you were taught how to do certain things. You go through that whole school process and you got to get things a certain way. And there's absolutely no mistakes being made. You're going to get your gold star, your A, rather than just learning and having, the adventure. So I think there is that, well, will I get the F? Will I get the D rather than the A grade? No one else around my age is doing this. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? Um, so I think there is a lot of comparing yourself to others. And as we get older, we just don't care.
Yeah, I don't think it matters as much, right? We think people care more than they actually do, right? And if somebody actually cares, they're not going to criticize. They're just going to give you some good advice and
Yeah.
going to help you out as far as, actually telling you what they've done that's correct and maybe what they see that you're doing and just help you correct course. So I think that's something we have to overcome. But yeah, man, Craig, I really like kind of what you said there. Like we've been kind of conditioned to just fear failing when really it's not that big of a deal. Because I think when we're like in school, it just put such pressure on us to not fail. Where in reality, if you want to be successful, you have to fail at least a couple times, right? To
Mm-hmm.
try to learn from what you didn't do right, so that you can actually go out there and do it right. So yeah, that's a good point there.
I want to say, or actually, evening to 75 hard challenge. It's first time seeing this person individual. Thanks for stopping by. This person's from India right now, so it's 8 p.m. He said. So thanks for stopping by. And we got Catherine Miller from the school committee. So thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we're kind of talking about right now the five deathbed regrets and how it kind of impacts our life and maybe our future and what we're looking to do. So yeah, like for myself, like I said, I wouldn't say I worked a lot, but it's also just finding that balance. I worked too much and missed out on life, and that's the hard part because like I'm trying to show my son that it takes work and hard work to do things, but at the same time, I don't want to take away from him enjoying certain things or having experiences in life. So that's one of the biggest struggles for me is figuring out that balance for myself. But yeah, I think the one common thing for all of us is like we're talking about is fear, overcoming fear, and being willing to make mistakes. I think I just saw, had an old clip of Tom Brady talking about he's learned more from his failures, right? Somebody was talking about like his best games or best moments. And he's like, no, it's the ones I lose is where it's what made me better, is what I learned from. So yeah, but yeah, I failed quite a bit. So I think that's a great learning experience there.
So,
You go ahead.
Kobe, Tyler, you were talking about what fear of what people might think about you, and the other thing that old pilot told me was no one thinks about you. You're the only one who's thinking about you.
Right, exactly. For that one that says I worked too much and missed out on life, do you think, because I don't know how they got the data for this and what type of people they're polling, but do you think, a lot of people who answered that are people who are maybe working in a job they don't actually enjoy? Because I feel like we are all working in industries that at least we enjoy somewhat a little bit. So I think for work, maybe if you pull like entrepreneurs who are doing things that they're passionate about, maybe that one doesn't come up as much, or is that kind of overall? I don't know how you guys are getting the data on that.
I think I agree with you. I think it's probably people who are not doing that. Maybe they're showing up to a 9 to 5 for something that they literally had no joy in doing for their whole life. And they're like, well, wait a minute. I just spent the last 30, 40 years of my life doing this. For what reason? And I think if you're an entrepreneur, that is one with all the stress and everything that comes along with it. It's you're building something for yourself and your family, and it should be something that you want to do. A couple of days ago, I was walking, and with my injury, I sometimes focus on, oh man, I can't be a fireman anymore. I can't do this. But I'm like, well, I'm also walking through this awesome park in the middle of my area in the middle of the day. I slept all night, which I used to never do that. And then I'm gonna see my kids before I go to bed, and I'm getting all this stuff done for work. It's like, well, I think, yeah, like for me, I love doing right now what I'm doing, and I just want to make sure that I don't work as much as I did back in my earlier 30s, I think, to where I still love this, but I was crazy. I was getting up at 5 a.m., working all the way through dinner for what I think I forget who it was, they said, "You say it's for your kids and your family, but are you really truly doing that?" And I think maybe, Kobe, it was they lacked balance, and then they wish they had a little bit more balance. I'm not sure about you guys. As my kids get older, I worry about work less and want to make things that they're doing more of a priority, even if that comes at the cost, at a financial cost.
What if we flip this script a little bit and let's say you're retired? Do you sit on a beach and do nothing? That's not the meaning of life. So the meaning of life, if you look at pretty much any of the religions or any of the ancient philosophies, it's about serving other people. And the capitalist system is about serving other people. I think what happened in modern society is it's kind of been bastardized, where you go to a 9 to 5 job, a soulless, you trade your time for money. There's absolutely no redeeming qualities about that. You're paycheck to paycheck. So I can see, like Kobe was talking about, is that segment of the population. Yeah, absolutely. But if you're serving people, there's a reward to it. So if you're financially free and you're going out there and you're contributing somehow, and it doesn't matter if you're earning money off of it or not, you're serving people. I think that's the reward. And if you're serving your kids, your family, your community, that's the meaning of life. And if you can do that in business and make a living doing that, I think you win.
Sorry, I'm posting everyone's. So just to remind everyone has like a YouTube channel going on. So we got Tyler has his first responder financial freedom. Craig has a YouTube channel. I'll put his out there, and Kobe's also. But yeah, I think that talking about fear too, right? Even starting a YouTube channel or a podcast, I think that's a different type of fear, right? And it's just getting over these type of things and on trying to start these things and start a new journey, and getting out of your comfort zone is super super helpful. And kind of the other points of the 5 regrets. Another one would be I didn't spend enough time with the people I love. That one also is. I can see that for a lot of people, right? A lot of times, you're kind of like in the moment and you're just rushing around and getting to work and trying to pay the bills and worrying about the future. But at the same time, it's like, who are you spending your time with? I think that's what changed a lot for me, is really, I guess you could say, maybe not, like trimming the fat in a sense, right? I mean, I only have so much time in a day, and it's kind of like who I'm spending my whatever time I have available with, right? So it's really a lot just family and close friends now, and that's been a big change for me.
That's a tough one. I think we will all struggle with that, no matter how much time we spend with a loved one. If we're on a loved one's deathbed, we'll always feel like we didn't spend enough time with them, because our time here is short. I think who brought up the hourglass earlier? That hourglass. There's only so many grains of sand left. Are we using those grains properly? So I think it's wrestling that. But you still have to earn a living. You still have to put food on the table. You still have to, you have your obligations. But we'll never feel we spend enough time with loved ones. So it's a struggle. I struggle with that life balance.
I want to
Yeah.
say hi to Ike real quick. Ike's here. He's a firefighter in Kansas. He's talking about me wearing a hat because I lost him in fantasy football the other week. So I'm supposed to wear a Seahawks hat on the live. So that may be one of my biggest regrets, though, is being diehard Chicago Bears fan is having to put up with this nonsense every time. But yeah, but I can't find a Seahawks hat because nobody buys them. So, but sorry, man. Go ahead, Kobe.
Go to Lids. I'm sure Lids have some.
No, I don't. They don't have any. I look.
No, I think going back to the loved ones thing, I think is also about quality time spent, not just quantity. I think, if you're spending maybe not as many hours, but those are really present hours and they're real high quality activities where you're there, you're not, checking your phone all the time, like you're on dinner with a family member. I think that matters too as well.
Great point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so easy now, right? Yeah, that's the struggle. I think I saw someone with the Apple Watch. They tried to keep their phone. They said they were going to try to go the whole day with just using their Apple Watch to see like can they basically get through the day and do enough work from their phone where they didn't have to. I mean, from their watch without having to actually get on their phone. Maybe I'll try that one day.
That's like when we go fishing, you go far enough offshore, you lose cell phone service, and at first you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then like we woke up that next morning with none, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. No matter how bad I want to look at this thing, there's no way I'm going to have access to it. And it's actually so much more relaxing. I think we forget how much better it was without these things tied to our hip 24/7. And I'm like one of the worst offenders ever. I have my phone with me 24/7. So it goes from anxiety to like, oh man, this is really nice.
Yeah.
Has anyone done a tech detox?
Ooh.
No, I'm just talking crazy. I know.
Yeah.
Mark's just sweating thinking about it.
It's hard, right? But like sometimes you just force yourself to do it, right? Like if you go like camping, and you don't have cell service, then
Yeah.
But you still check, right? You're like on the rock trying to get your phone up there, trying to connect to something.
I did 2 weeks in the mountains in New Mexico for my son was in scouting, so we did that Philmont trip, and it just rained and rained and rained, and my cell phone absolutely died. I like had nothing, and I had work chaos going on at home, and I'm like sweating it out, and then pretty soon it's just like there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck here. So, and then that was nice, and then magically that phone restored itself when I got back to base camp.
Nice. 2 weeks though, that's rough, man.
Yeah, that was a hard trip.
Let's see what's another. Let's see what about. Whoa, what is that? You guys hear that? Or is that? I wish I'd been braver in the face of uncertainty or opportunity.
Fear. You know the acronym for fear? F everything and run.
False evidence appearing real too. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
a lot of this.
since we're
No, go Tyler.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think a lot of it. I think we all could say it now with more experience in real estate. Is the biggest thing is not the deals that you did do; it's the ones that you didn't do that made sense. And I talked to a client yesterday. He's in his early 20s, wants to buy a duplex in Oceanside here, and his biggest thing is he sees all the guys that are older on the job who have to work 8 extra shifts, which for firemen you average about 10 shifts a month, right? So you're doubling your workload just to afford their lifestyle. And he said, I just watch how little time they're able to spend with their families. And he's like, well, I know this deal is not great right now, but I'm hoping that it provides me the opportunity later down the road to spend more time with your wife and kids. And I'm like, that's perfect. Why not? You're 25 years old. What do you have to lose? Even if the deal goes terrible, which it probably won't, what do you really have to lose? You have so much time to recover. So yeah, I think that goes back to that for me, if we're talking specifically about real estate.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want to look at, what you're fearing, right? It's like if you take advantage of the opportunity, what's the worst that can happen? But like, what happens if you don't? Like, which one actually puts more fear into you, right? Are you more fearful of, maybe a deal going bad, or are you more fearful of never starting and then retiring with those 5 deathbed regrets and not living to your fullest. So that's the other part of it as well, because you're taking a risk either way. If you're starting something, you're taking a risk. If you're not starting something, it's just a different risk.
I'm not going to even try and pronounce this person's name, but thanks for stopping by. I don't know whose channel. It says paired, so it's coming from someone's channel. Brandon something, but thank you. We are live, though, so I don't know whose channel he's coming from, but I'm not going to even try and say his last name. But thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else, any other topics you guys want to dig into? I mean, we can stay on this, the 5 regrets. I think it's like you said, it really comes down to mindset and fear and kind of just, I think it's really just how you approach it, right? Some people, it holds them back, right? They see an obstacle and they have regrets and they'll dwell on it, right? And there's others that will take it, use the experience, improve on it, and just move on with life and try to learn from it. So I think that's the important thing, really, how you look at things. And that's, like Craig mentioned, the who you surround yourself with, the community you're in. I think that's the number one thing, is who you're spending a lot of your time with.
And what goes into your mind too. So I've been through a couple cycles in life, right? I've lost everything a couple times. And so I had to reprogram my brain at one point from negativity, right? I had alcohol problems. And so that was one point. And then coming off a divorce too. So once the negative thoughts get in there, that's where the fear comes. And so start absorbing content. You can find different podcasts, but like Napoleon Hill, you can get into a lot of different positive stuff that can kind of reprogram that brain. So like every negative thought, you're going to need like 17 positive inputs to override that one. It's like a groove in the record. It's probably dated myself. No one knows what records are anymore, right? For the needle gets stuck in that track. So you got to reprogram that. And I did that through like podcasts and audibles, audiobooks, and just different content, just get something positive in there. And the only thing that really truly overcomes fear, and this is that Napoleon Hill, is it's faith. You got to have faith things will work out. Whether you're talking religious faith or just faith in that things are going to work out. That's the only thing that overrides fear. Fear can't exist where there's faith. So it's that battle.
Yeah, I think that is so important, man. That mindset and how you think, is a lot of what we see in our world. It's not what's happening. It's just how we perceive it to be. So I always say, like, the same situation, and we all struggle with this, but like the same situation to like one person could be like the worst day ever, but like to another person it's like the best thing that ever happened. It's like the exact same situation. It's just, how are you looking at this, right? Because I'm sure there's somebody out there that would trade like the exact problems that they have with the exact problems that we have, and they would be more than happy with it. So it does all come down to mindset. I think that's a great point.
Tyler, do you think your injury has really changed a lot of things for you, or were you kind of maybe already had this vision of focusing on certain things, but did your injury kind of make you pivot?
Yeah, but not in the way that you would think. I actually was, when I was on duty, I would work 24/7. I would get off shift, and I'd literally start working in the car. I had a 2-hour drive home, and I was go, 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 go. So I think my injury has allowed me to take a step back and enjoy things that I didn't used to enjoy. Like I had so little time that I would just work, 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 work. And now I think I find more balance in areas where I did not. So yeah, I think most people would think, oh, I benefited more financially and things afterwards. But no, for me, it was I have a lot more balance in my life, and that took a long time. I got hurt 3 years ago in February, or 4 years ago in February. It took me a couple of years to realize, like, okay, this is my new reality, and then like, let's see how this can be beneficial. And I think that's, for me, the biggest thing is I spend way more time with my kids than I ever did on duty, and to me, that's a huge win. It's a massive one. It's probably the biggest thing. And like Craig said, giving back to your community. I'm coaching now. I'm doing all these things I couldn't do before. Sorry about my dog.
No. Is that when the beard started 4 years ago?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I was always clean shaven until I got hurt, and I thought, okay, I'll grow it out until I go back on duty. And as you can see, that hasn't happened yet. Um, I did see too in the chat. It was a good point, and I was meaning this. It says when life feels overwhelming, what mindfulness techniques or habits do you use? I don't know about you guys, but I think the more like battle wounds I get because of fear, I have this thing now to where if a big problem happens in my real estate investing business, my decision is to make no decision for 24 hours unless that's impossible. And it never ever has seemed as big as it did that initial moment where it happened. So I'll use a rental property I have as an example. A day ago, my property manager says, "Hey, all the irrigation lines are down because one of my neighbors poured concrete and they just basically crushed our irrigation line." Because Idaho is different; they have irrigation districts, and everything runs through your properties. Before, I would have freaked out, started calling people, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll think about it, and then I'll make a decision, which will be today, this afternoon." But I would let that ruminate and like ruminate my thoughts. So I think that was not being present. It was not being mindful. It was just fear, or it was reaction based out of fear, right? Like, oh, everything's going to happen. So um, I thought that was a good question. Whoever RWO equity is, I think it's a good question.
Yeah, I was gonna share it, but for some reason it's not popping up on my chat side in the feed. I mean, I have it on the YouTube side, but I can't share it. It's not on the restream side, so I don't know. But yeah, it's a great point. Yeah.
Ruminate. That's a good word. That's where we're our own worst enemies. We let what goes on between our ears run us into the ground, and that's what prevents us from taking action. So that wait 24 hours is a good one. Meditation is another good one, and meditation is just like a form of breathing. Just slow down. Just because life comes at us fast and we start running at that pace, and we're just out of sync with reality. So 24 hours or meditating just to slow down and let the process work on solving the problem. Good night's sleep does the trick. So I like that word, ruminate.
Yeah, those are like really good points, I think, because I was actually thinking, it's just in my mind, like, because you guys both mentioned, Craig and Tyler, you guys have gone through, some pretty, I guess, challenging times. Craig, you mentioned you kind of lost everything a couple times, and Tyler with your injury. I was going to ask you guys, like, is it a lot of times when you're going through those like seemingly kind of life ending, like world ending situations, now that you've gone past it, would you like not necessarily have any regrets kind of going back and like how you thought about things and what your mindset was, but like now that you're looking back on it, did you make it out to be a bigger problem than it actually was at the time, now that you've survived and moved through it?
Don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small stuff.
I just saw that yesterday.
That was something that I kind of shared on Instagram and stuff. I think Hormozy was talking about it. It was about being lazy and how lazy people kind of figure out easier solutions on ways to do things. But it's also lazy people might not look at something as a problem, or they're gonna just be like, it's nothing. I'm not gonna deal with it. It's not really a problem. And I think that's kind of going back to not sweating the small things. And I think that's, if I had a superpower, I think that I would say that's kind of my superpower, where things don't really bother me and it's not really a big issue. And usually things will figure itself out. So I think that would be my kind of superpower in a way.
Yeah, and I think not ruminating on something I can't control, right? I got hurt. It is what it is. Like Craig said, I like that word too, because I just obsessed over it for a while. And what did it didn't really change the outcome. I'm where I'm at today, regardless of how much time I spent on that. And I think we all do it. But I think, yeah, don't sweat the small stuff is good, right? Like, focus on the things you can control, not the things you can't. And that's still a daily battle. But like looking back on all of this, I think that would be the biggest thing. I was fighting so hard and trying to control every single thing about my injury, surgeries, things like that. And the end result is the end result, regardless of whether or not I had done that. So I think if I were to go back and do it again, I don't have Mark's gift of just, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but I would consciously try to like slow myself down, whether it's breathing or whatever, hey, it's gonna work out the way it's gonna work out.
That kind of perfect timing for Catherine Miller from the school community's chat comment, I guess. Meditation is great. Really just being in the moment is super important. So what you're talking about, Tyler. But Craig, we also did a interview before this, and so we got to know each other a little bit off, chatting. But you also brought up kind of a big point in your life was you were dealing with alcoholism.
Yep.
Did that kind of also impact you, maybe regretting on things that you might be missing out on later in life?
Yeah. So a lot of decisions I made early on in life, it, alcohol it was a big part of it. So I made a lot of poor decisions and kind of put me down different paths in life. And I had to come to terms with some of those poor decisions I made, regrets. And it's part of the program is accepting what has been done. Right. Tyler, you talk about your injury. Does it suck? Yeah. But it's who you become. Like my alcoholism made me who I am today. So I don't regret it. It's made me stronger in many different ways. Would my life have turned out different? Sure. But that's not what happened. So, don't ruminate over it, but those were a lot of those life lessons I've learned, and that who made who I am today. That old guy I talk about, the World War II pilot, he was my sponsor, right? And he had that, what I call 2x4 compassion. And I see a lot of this in Robert Kiyosaki. He was shot down in War II, right? And he comes across as just this a-hole, but he's got a big heart. So this guy would come up and he's got the biggest heart, but he would just hit me over the forehead with like a 2x4 with the truth. And it's just like, I'd just be stunned, like, what the hell just hit me? But it's what I needed to hear at the time. And then the skills on, Catherine talks about the meditation. It's slowing down and not ruminate, not let that brain get away from me. And so it's life skills I learned as a result of those. And I think, Tyler, that's kind of what you touched on too, is the injury has taught you life skills now. It's made you a stronger person. So you can't regret that stuff because it makes you stronger.
I think that's the word of the day, ruminate. So I'm gonna use that today somewhere on X. I'll post something about ruminate. But yeah. But I think, bringing up that too, even I know Craig's on X, but that's something that same thing, right? And Zuber always talks about it too, like who's in your feed, right? Are you following all these doomers, and that's what's popping up in your feed all day? Or are you following people that are making an impact or positive things? And that really kind of might impact the way your day goes, right? What you're following on social media. Do you guys see, like we talked about technology and things, like what's in your guys, when you guys woke up this morning and you guys probably checked your phone, what was in your guys' feeds?
Whatever you do, don't engage on Twitter on the negative content, because your stream will be filled with the cesspool of it. So
I have barbecue on mine.
Oh, Jen's here. I want to say good morning to Jen from the school ORAC community. She's going to be throwing an in-person event in the Bay Area. I think the Bay Area, I forget, somewhere in California. I'm not exactly sure, but she's going to throw an in-person event. So maybe she can reach out to you, Tyler, too. You can join them.
I had a lot of going back to what's on my feed. I had a lot of Bears posts on my feed.
Did you?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
The first thing I saw was actually was this. I was tagged in the Instagram post for this live. So.
Well, I get started early. I get up early, so try to promote all of us. Hey, Ariel's here. Thanks. Ariel's doing cool stuff. She's got her. I gotta look if I have her link saved, but she has her book come. I don't know when is it coming out, Ariel. If you're still here, maybe comment. I know you have a pre-orders for your book right now coming out. Even though she didn't choose the white cover that I voted on, but she chose the blue one. It still looks nice though.
Yeah, I'm in Houston.
I'll go check out Ariel's stuff. Hey, Casey's here. Good morning. What about you, Craig? I know you're on X. Are you saying you don't follow any doomers on there?
I do.
You just don't engage.
I try not to engage, but sometimes I can't help myself. It's like, they make it too easy. So sometimes I comment and I regret commenting it. But I try not to spend too much time with the doomers. But they're, everyone's got a perspective, so it's not entirely wrong. I just don't go down the doom and gloom side, but I've got, we talked about, you build up some skills on how to keep that brain from, letting fear run your life. So, ideally I would just unlock it all and only have sunshine and lollipops in my stream, but no, there's a lot of garbage in there too.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Casey. Oh yeah, Casey and Jen are actually probably going to be starting that first in-person event for the school community. So same thing. We're talking about community again and who you're surrounding yourself with. Zuber's really trying to promote people in their communities or in their wherever they're living. Try to start up their own events, like start up their own in-person meetups to kind of get around other like-minded individuals. So I think that's super cool. So we'll see if I can get one started in Hawaii and then get Tyler out as a guest speaker or something,
I'll come out there. Never a bad time to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else you guys want to chat about? You guys want to stay on this topic? Anything else you guys working on or what you're noticing out there? Tyler, you said you're getting busy, right?
Yeah, things are getting busier, and it's funny because since the Fed announcement, rates have gone up, but I've just noticed like a steady increase in client conversations app, people jumping off the fence and starting to buy. So that's good. Lead flow for Boise's increased as well. Haven't bought anything in a little bit, but I feel like that's right around the corner. But yeah, that's it for me. I was going to turn it around on you. I know you posted the other day that you qualified for the YouTube partner program, which shows all of your hard work is paying off. And as all of us who have YouTube channels, and mine is most definitely probably the smallest one out of all four of these, I know that's no easy feat. So congratulations to you.
Thanks, man. I still don't know really what it means, but it's like a tier 1, I think. So I think I'm not monetized. Well, I guess I'm tier 1 of monetization. So I can get like super chats. Hint, anyone that's listening on the live, but I think I can get my first super chat. So actually on the other live the other day, people were able to put in super chats. But yeah, like you're talking about, it's a lot of hard work but it's fun. I'm having fun with it. I like, promoting everyone. But same thing, talking about fear though, right? That first time you go live or the first time you put out your first content, it's hard. Even the lives, because you're always worried about, with your guys' lives on your guys' podcast, is like something might not work, right? The feed is not working well, or getting everyone to get on at the same time. It's challenging, but you just keep doing it, and you just hope people keep saying yes, that they want to come on and have fun with you. But yeah.
I spend a lot of time on YouTube, just looking at content, and I find the stuff that has errors on there is genuine, and that's the stuff I want to see. I don't want to see that computerized voice with all the perfect edits in there, because it just seems so fake now.
All the AI stuff.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But actually, well, not to. I know Kobe's working on something. So what was the you sent me that what you're working on recently?
Oh yeah, it's a custom GPT. So I don't know if do you guys all know what ChatGPT is, right? But do you know what a custom GPT is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so for people who don't understand what a custom GPT is, so if you have ChatGPT, if you go into your account on the left sidebar, there's a little button that says Explore GPTs, and then basically it takes you to this entire marketplace of like custom built versions of ChatGPT, and that accomplishes a specific task. So if you have like a business and you want to promote like social media marketing, it could be like real estate social media marketing ChatGPT. And then all it does is it writes social media content for people who are in the real estate industry that promotes their business. So you can build these if you have you can use these if you have a free account. If you have a pro account, you can build these. You can build as many of these as you want. And it's really easy to build, actually. All you
Can
have
I
to do.
share? Can I share what you sent me, or is that your own?
It's supposed to be for my team.
Oh, okay. No. I just wanted to make sure first, so I didn't. Okay.
But if you guys want access to it,
Okay,
you
so
can
reach out to
and
Kobe if you want to play with it.
I'll send it to you. But you can build these. You can build as many of these as you want. So like if you have a business that you want to promote, like write social media content, you can actually upload information about your specific business, and then it'll write content centered around your business as well. So we had I have a partner who they're running a residential assisted living community, and they've just put in all the information about like their course frameworks and everything, and then it writes social media content based around their specific business that they're trying to promote and the courses that they're trying to they're putting into their community as well. So that's pretty interesting. If you haven't played around with it, if you have a pro account, definitely play around with it. I think it's a lot of fun, and people are selling these. Like I've seen people sell these for like $97 a month just to use a custom GPT.
Wow.
So go check out Kobe's YouTube channel. Go reach out to him if you want to play around with it. But his channel is in the comments. Hey, Stay Winning's here. Hey, he gave me a super chat this morning. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we gotta connect because so anyone doesn't know, Stay Winning was something happened to him on X, so he had to start a new account. So he's trying to build that back up. So also, if you want to know how to get monetized quickly on X, reach out to Hugo. I think he's done it in like a month or no, maybe 2 months, but he's done it pretty quickly. He's met the requirements. So go reach out to him if you want to figure out how to get monetized on YouTube. I mean, on YouTube also, but also on X pretty quickly. But I will put Hugo's channel also in the, let's see. Yeah, go subscribe to Hugo's YouTube channel. Yes, Tyler, you did not know, but you can get monetized on X. I know part of it is you need to get to 5 million impressions in 3 months. So,
That's a
Hugo,
lot.
it is. So that's why Hugo has a little technique or strategy. It's pretty much just replying quite a bit. It doesn't have. I mean, you can reply anything really, but you try to just jump on bigger accounts and reply to those things and comment and engage. And so,
where do you even find that on there?
You mean how much your impressions are?
Yeah.
So you go to, where is it?
Maybe we're getting off track. That's your call.
No. This is anything that can help people. I'm trying to do it from my iPad. I hardly do it from my iPad. But there's one where it has like profile premium analytics. There's an analytics one, and you click on that, and it shows you like how many views you get, how many impressions you get, how much views on your profile you're getting, and it gives you rankings, and you can do it by like 7 days, 3 months, 1 year. So the goal is to try to get 5 million impressions in 3 months. And like, so that's why if you get something that kind of goes viral on someone else's post, so, and you can get like, 1 million, impressions on one, I mean, it's hard to do, but you just stay consistent with it, and it's doable.
I'll have to look for that. I wasn't even aware of that. I just go on there and banter with the doomers.
Well, so that's also why some of them, I believe, are doomers, is that's how they get the engagement, and they get all those replies and following, and so they're making a lot of money. Not a lot, but they're making money on there. Yeah. So Hugo's back on X. So thanks for getting. Yep. Well, now you're trying to do TikTok, man. But yeah, reach out to Hugo if you want to know how to make all these side incomes. So he has one of the, I forget, top 10.
Is Hugo Stay Winning podcast?
Yeah, Stay Winning podcast. So I think I put his YouTube channel in there, and he's also Stay Winning Management, I think, on X now. I keep forgetting to save his link, but Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, the YouTube stuff is fun though. I'm glad I finally reached that point. I noticed the shorts do a lot better though to get I guess momentum, putting out shorts on the YouTube side. Yep. So Stay Winning says I get people monetized on social media in less than 30 days. Book a call with me here. Yep. Cool. So what else are you guys working on? What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about any interesting things like Diddy or what else is going on in the what are you guys shaking your heads for?
Costco said they do not sell baby oil, by the way. They refuted any claims.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy times we're in, man.
That
I think,
house, I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to just put a question out there. Go.
Throw the question out.
I was going to say, now that we are in the tail end of this year, has anybody's outlook changed on 2025 for what they're doing? Are you course correcting or?
No, I'm going to assume everything is going to be basically normal, right? There's going to be a lot of drama and chaos no matter what happens. But I think things will continue on normal. And then on the offset chance that it doesn't, we're talking World War III, and there's nothing I can do about it anyhow. So I'll make course correction if that happens, but I'm not going to sit there and fear on if World War III breaks out or what, whoever gets in office, if that's going to change anything. I'm just going to assume everything's going to keep trajectory it has for 200 and some years. It's going to continue on most likely. And if it doesn't, I'll correct the course later.
Yeah, I haven't. Not much has changed on my side as well. It's just keep moving forward and control the controllables. So there's things we can't control, and we control them, and then there's things we can't control, and we don't worry about it, or we try not to.
Yeah, same here. I'm just trying to get out of my primary house as fast as I can to rent it out. So pretty much done. Cleaners are coming starting today to get it. I mean, I pretty much have a tenant. I just so hopefully they can October 1st. I'm trying to get out to make it easy for them. But man, I got so much shit. I think I'm getting sick from all the cat hair and dust. Yeah.
Did you watch that video I did of that house? I rented it to 2 people and they moved 8 people in and a couple dogs. It was on
I have not had a chance.
Okay.
No, let me see
I've
if I
got
can
that
find
gutted down. So yeah, they moved 8 people in and they flooded out the septic system. So then this raw sewage was backing up into the basement. So then I was having to have that pumped. Anyhow, I took the house back and I've had it sit empty for a couple months now. I have to replace the septic system. I got one quote on it for $35,000 now. I'm trying to connect to the city sewer, which is right in the front of the house. The city wants $175,000 to connect. And it's just unbelievable. I'm going to go over there later and shoot a video of an update. I got 4 feet torn off of the walls in the basement, and I pulled out underneath the kitchen sink. There was leaking there, and then I had to tear out all the cabinets. I had 2 months. The sheetrock's open, and the studs are still wet. They just that water was leaking. They were only in there 12 months.
Jeez.
Yep. So I probably have somewhere close to 50,000 in damage there.
Now you're putting fear in people. No.
No, but I mean, that's like the worst case scenario you can have. And I'm still going to make money on the deal. So this is a nightmare scenario. But I bought it at such a price. The land value, if I tore the house down, it's going to be worth more. So it's, maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
No, I think like we kind of talked about as we were chatting, right? It's like talking about our failures and mistakes and things that happen and how there's usually a solution, right? No
Mm-hmm.
matter what happens, there's always some sort of solution. And, probably, hopefully what people take away from this is that they have proper reserves. And that's something I always talk about is mistakes I made was I didn't have the right amount of reserves. So, that's a great point of, that's probably the worst case scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if your reserves is in that 50K to maybe 100K, reserve amount, that's how you can alleviate some of the stress on having these type of things, that come up, right? So, it's I think that's what your message, what you're trying to do is share your journey, right? I think it's super helpful for new investors that these are the kind of things that they're concerned with, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see,
Catherine just said, is there something I could have done differently? And I don't know. I had the proper lease in place, multi-housing association lease. So it's a court approved lease, but minimum it's 6 months to get a tenant out in Minnesota. So it's kind of not a very landlord friendly state. So that's mistake number one. Number two is I can't control what people do. So I'm halfway down that track before I can even start evicting them. And the cost of an evicting them, it's just ride it out. Don't renew the lease, take it back. I was just shocked at the amount of damage that they were able to do. In their defense, that septic system was 60 years old. So they may not have completely destroyed it. It may have been on its last legs anyhow. My plan was to redevelop the property, so I bought it as a land play. So it's sitting on 4 acres, and it should be able to be subdivided into about 8 units. But I'm kind of locked horns with the city right now, so I think they want to pick it up for parkland is what's going on.
All right. Well, just letting everyone know that we're not kicking people out of here. Tyler and Kobe got to go make some money. They got some work-related calls coming up, so they had to bounce. But thanks to both of them stopping by. Go subscribe to their channels. Go follow them. So just me and Craig right now. But I believe, Catherine, great question. But I also believe, I think you were asking about starting a YouTube channel before in the school and some of the earlier, Zoom sessions or meetings. Did you ever start one, or how's that going, Catherine? So if you're still here, maybe comment or let everyone know where they can follow you at. But so what do you think of the school community so far, Craig? How's everything going?
Good. I think there's a lot of good people in there that are trying to learn and grow. And it doesn't matter how much time you have in the business, you still learn stuff. I ran into one that for some reason I always thought that I needed a signed lease to get a DSCR loan, but DSCR loans are relatively new to the market. And someone says, no, you don't need that. I'm like, yeah, you do. So I called my lender and he's like, no, you don't.
No, yeah.
We just won't lend on the stuff you buy. It's in such rough shape.
That's the one tricky part. But yeah, a lot of times they go to the rent comps and they have their own software they calculate the rents. So like I always talk about too, my YouTube channel, and what I'm trying to do is just have fun and share my story and help other people get on camera, and hopefully they get comfortable. So with that being said, so Craig, just to let you know, so like right now when I'm looking at your feed, right,
Mm-hmm.
your wording is backwards on your camera side, right? So you can go into settings and there's a mirror. You can turn off the mirror so that when I'm looking at you, it reads the right way. I mean, it's not a big deal. Some people don't care. But like I said, some people, there you go. So now, yeah. So cool.
I must be dyslexic because I could read that normally backwards.
Yeah. Good thing it didn't say ruminate, and then people would be like, what is he trying to read back there? But let's see. So it was Catherine. I did remember. So she says, oh gosh, I haven't begun my channel. It seems a little odd and I'm unsure about it, but it's kind of a passion of mine. Well, you can come on my channel, Catherine, and get comfortable and have fun with it. And I think, like I said, that's kind of what I hope that I can help people with. Like I said, I'm not good at this. I'm not great at it, but I just want people to, practice getting what mic they want to use, or what their lighting is, or what their background setting is, or what softwares they want to use. But just yeah, use my channel as kind of like a platform to practice and have fun with it. Because I appreciate people that come on, like, you know, Craig, we just have fun, we chit chat and have fun with this and all grow together.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier in the previous video, we're developing skills, and I don't have the skills yet, but doing this is going to help develop the skills. It's a muscle we got to exercise, and I don't know where it's going to go. You know, I'm probably not going to be a YouTube star or anything, but it may develop skills that'll help me on some other avenue in life. So
Yeah, you know, and I think I don't know. I know you mentioned you follow Zuber and Lumberjack. I'm not sure how much you follow Dion, but what I like about it too is a lot of times I notice that I'm always sharing to um, new people I connect with, sharing the same story. Like they're asking, "Oh, what's your story? What was your journey like?" But if you have this content out there or these videos, it's easy to be, hey, you know, here, check out this video of myself or this podcast I was on. So it's easy to send them a link or, you know, some way that they can kind of get a background before they actually connect with you. So even like, you know, people that reach out that want to know like what property manager I use in Pittsburgh. So I had him on my channel before. So it's easy for me like, oh, here, this is a guy that I've connected with. And, you know, an easy way for them to get a kind of story of who this individual is.
yeah. So Jen just typed in, she's at the same place, hard to get started. So here's an opportunity. You could have the two of them on, and they can get over their
I gotta
fear.
be careful. I don't know if Jen's a troublemaker, so she might get me canceled.
I don't know
If I have
Jen. Okay.
Yeah, if I have Jen on, she's gonna get my channel canceled, I think. Nah, I'm just playing. Jen's we have fun together. She calls me the troublemaker, but Jen's a lot of fun. She has a lot of energy. So yes, I've told her before she should have her own channel and do stuff. But
Yeah, just get over the fear. Just do it.
yeah. Oh, actually, though, if yeah, you said you didn't know Jen, but Jen has a big impact on the one rental at a time community. She's the one that um, gets a lot of the guests on Zuber's channel. She's the one that finds out who the community wants to speak with a lot of times or hear from, and she goes and messages these people's I guess social media teams and tries to get them on Zuber's channel.
I might get him banned. I didn't know that. Is she on the school?
Yeah,
Do I know her from
she's in school. Yeah. Jen Tam. Yeah. That's Kenny Wong's husband. I mean wife. Kenny's her husband.
All right. Well, I'll have to look for her on there. So
Yeah. Watch out. She's gonna get you she'll get your channel canceled too.
both viewers.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a lot of thanks for doing
Yeah.
this, man. This was
Thanks
a lot
for
of
having
fun.
me on. I'm probably going to have to get back to work myself here. So
Cool.
But,
Well, thanks everyone for stopping by. Hugo, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, Jen, Catherine, maybe we'll like get a great idea, get you both on at the same time or get you guys started. But yeah, thanks everyone. You know, have a good Friday and have a great weekend.
all right. Take care.
All right.
Thanks
Take care.
All right.